The Magic of Ig, an audio children's story or fable for grown-ups, written and performed by Jan Little. Chapter 1.
The Magic of Ig. Once upon a time, not a faraway time, but actually a time quite recent, there was a girl called Ig. Funny name that, isn't it? Short for Ignatiana, and understandably perhaps Ig hated it. What on earth possessed her parents to call her Ignatiana, she just didn't know. Not only was it unpronounceable, but it came from a boy's name, Ignatius. Her twin brothers couldn't say it. They could only say Ig, and Ig seemed better than the full name. Children at school seemed to think Ig was cool, and they rarely teased her about it. So Ig she was. Things had changed, though, since her little brothers had been born. They were cute and funny and noisy. They could shout and scream and cry, and they always seemed to be needing something. Nappy changing or bottle feeding, and just when Ig wanted to ask her parents a question. Not now, dear. In a minute. But the minute never came. Ig knew her brothers needed looking after, but even when the boys were asleep, her mum and dad were tired and too exhausted to play with her. Her parents were worried, you see. They hadn't expected 2 more mouths to feed, and money was short. So Ig stopped asking for treats and new things, and took to wandering in the park and woods nearby, because that didn't cost anything at all. And for some reason, Ig liked the trees in the wood. The tall, the small, the fat and the thin. They sheltered her from rain, and she loved the way their leaves trembled in the wind, and the way they left piles of leaves on the floor in autumn that you could scrunch under your feet. On this particular summer's day, Ig was wandering around the wood, looking at the wild garlic, when she suddenly spotted piles of dead leaves and twigs under a tree. Strange, thought Ig. It's quite a mound. And the leaves, they look all freshly fallen, although it's summer now. She felt she had to take a closer look. She bent down and grabbed a handful of leaves in both hands together. "Ah! That hurts!" said a voice. Ig was so surprised she dropped the leaves immediately. "Ah! That's even worse!" said the voice. "What are you trying to do, dropping an injured man?" Ig just stood there in astonishment. "Don't just stand there," said the voice. "Get these leaves off me before I get smothered to death." Ig gently brushed the leaves away, and then put her hand to her mouth in surprise. For there, on the woodland floor, was a stick man. 2 legs made out of sticks. 2 arms made out of sticks. His body was made out of 1 stick, and his head, well, that was like the top of a matchstick. "Phew! That's better," said the little man. "And where have you been? I've been calling you for ages." I never heard you. Sorry," replied Ig. She couldn't believe she was talking to a stick figure, as though it was the most normal thing on earth. But then, he was only 6 inches tall at the most, and he couldn't do her much harm. Could he? "Never heard me? When I'm calling out for help with all my strength?" Never heard me? You couldn't have been listening from the right place. Ig could feel herself getting a little annoyed with the stickman's grumpiness. Right place? What are you on about? You listen with your ears, don't you? The stickman shook his head. Oh dear, oh dear. You are going to be a difficult one, I can see. Difficult? It's you who's being difficult. I just went to pick up some leaves, that's all. And then you made a noise like you were poorly and then Ig's kind nature won over her frustration, and she gently asked, "Oh, are you hurt?" Thank you. Remembered someone other than yourself now, have you? Well, yes, as it happens, I am hurt. I've hurt my leg. See? It's dangling down at a very funny angle. It's all bent. Gosh, that does look bad, said Ig, as she looked upon one twigged leg, all bent backwards from the stickman's knee. I think I'd better get the doctor. The thought did cross Ig's mind that maybe her dad would be a better choice, as she wasn't sure that doctors dealt with legs made out of sticks. But the stickman shouted, "Doctor? I don't need a doctor. You mend it." Me? I'm not a doctor. Stickman gave one of his huffs again. How old are you? 9? 10? And you don't know how to mend a leg? No, I don't, and neither do my mum and dad, and they're really old, at least 30, so age has got nothing to do with it. Aye, well, the stickman snuffled. The older you get, the worse it is for forgetting you got magic fingers. Ig wondered if the poor stickman had hurt his head as well as his leg. He was talking such nonsense. There's no such thing as magic. It's all tricks, my dad says. Yes, well, that's another thing grown-ups forget. Now, just put your hand on my knee there. Not there. There. Yes, that's right. Now, hold it there. Ah! Ig jumped back and screamed as suddenly sparks and light set off from her hand like fireworks. All different colours were flying from her fingers, like sparklers with zigzag lights that flashed like lightning. And as soon as she drew back, the fireworks stopped. Cut the dramatics, please. If you're going to be a wizard, you better get used to it. In fact, the more you practice, the more you'll be able to do it without all those visual effects. Wizard? What was that? I'm no wizard. Don't ask questions in awkward situations. Just do it again. That's right. Now blow on it. Oh, not like that. Gently and slowly. Let the breath come from your tummy and out of your mouth. There. Mended. Strong new leg. You might have the beginnings of a wizard after all. Ig looked at her fingers, and then at the stickman's leg, and then back again. The leg. It looked brand new. And she looked for the old bent one next to him, but there was no sign of it at all. And she felt not so much pleased as a little afraid of what had just happened. It wasn't normal. It wasn't usual. And she definitely wasn't a wizard. It will become quite normal if you let it, replied the stickman, as if he had read her thoughts. It's the sort of thing that wizards do all the time. How many times do I have to tell you? I am not a wizard. And anyway, I'm a girl, so I would be a witch. No, girls can be wizards too. But if you're not interested, then I'll be going. After I came all this way too. You called me, and I came. That's no way to treat people. I never called you. I never did. You're telling fibs, and I must be dreaming. I mean, you're not even here. Ig closed her eyes and pinched herself. But it did actually hurt. And when she opened her eyes, the stickman was still there. You did call me. I never did. You did. Did not. You did so. You were looking at the stars and wished you could do magic like Harry Potter. Although why Harry beats me, Hermione is much more sensible. Well, Hermione can be a bit stuck up. Right up your street then, I'd say. And the stickman laughed. Ig ignored the insult and thought back. Why, yes. 3 nights ago she had woken up in the middle of the night, gone to the window, and looked at the stars. She had been reading Harry Potter before she went to bed, and had wished she was as magical as he was. So, Stickman was right after all. She had called him. Everyone's magical if they but knew it, said Stickman. Now, hurry up. We haven't much time. Where's the slip-away tree in this wood? A slip-away tree? I've no idea what you're talking about. Well, the stickman stood up and put all his weight on his new leg. Not a bad job, he muttered. I thought you would know about slip-away trees, though. What do they teach you in school these days? Anyway, if you've never seen or climbed a slip-away tree, then you are in for a real adventure. Follow me. I'll find it. And Ig, still with the image of sparks flying from her fingertips, found herself both excited and a little afraid as she followed the stickman through the wood, wondering what on earth was about to happen next.
The Magic of Ig continues in Chapter 2. Look for this chapter on Jan's Strolls and Stories YouTube channel. If you would like to be notified of new chapters and stories, please consider subscribing to her free channel. Jan loves to hear from her listeners, so if you would like to contact her, please leave a comment below and she will get back to you.